Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet, and we are going to be getting back into the Daily Masters series of games. Now, obviously for you guys, it's just been one day since the last Daily Masters because I pre-uploaded all of them, but for me, I have not casted Daily Masters for about 8 or 9 days now. So, yeah, I was on a work trip all week, going off there, doing some work stuff. Not able to cast at all, but we're getting back into it straight away, and I think I mentioned it in a previous Daily Masters, but I desperately wanted to find a really nice PvP, and this is what I have for you today. It is a really awesome looking PvP. You can see it's a decent video length, so we're looking at a very decent game here. Now down the bottom left side of the map we do have our red Protoss player, State, and up the top right side of the map we do have our blue Protoss player, NightEnD. And I'm pretty sure NightEnD is actually his full name. It's just not like some players you have the Knight, and the Knight is actually the clan name. It's pretty much NightEnD. I'm pretty sure he's part of the Fnatic clan, so that is not exactly the same thing. But just do a quick search up of these players. I believe I have cast games with them before, but I mean seriously, what else can we really do at this early part of the game while they are still messing around, getting their builds up and going? Unfortunately, my alt tab doesn't quite work as well, and everything's a bit slow because I'm downloading stuff in the background, but regardless, these players are going to be getting the basics up and running. Very similar timings on everything pretty much. I think for most of the players, their build is pretty much identical as far as getting stuff up very early on. We can see State actually getting this, getting a probe out a little bit faster and choosing to get the cybernetics core a little bit slower. So that's the first difference we've seen in this game, but otherwise fairly close together. And one thing to note is that Protoss players, when they're going off against another Protoss player, generally don't like to go for I don't know, I mean, they don't like to go for any really seriously crazy command center play, because like second Nexus play, sorry, because they like to get their Stalker out nice and quickly and have that as a bit of a safeguard. The Stalker or the Zealot or the Sentry or whatever have that as a bit of a safeguard, because yeah, I mean obviously Protoss units are a little bit beefier, and this page is still not loaded up, so just gonna have to keep refreshing. I probably should not be downloading anything in the background, but the only good thing I can say about this is that replays, you can play them offline, which is very good. This probe is being very shifty. I don't know if he's going to try and build a proxy. No, he was thinking about it, but there's already a proxy pylon over there, so State can very easily knows what this probe is all on about, and building that pylon over there, very nice. It's obviously a occupational hazard of playing on this map, is there's this beautiful place for a proxy pylon over there. And we can see that NightEnD has done exactly the same thing, built his own pylon over there to stop the proxy from going down. And we saw that exactly what NightEnD was going for. He was going for this little area to put his pylon in there. So going for a proxy. I don't know if State tried that a bit earlier on, but if he did, it obviously got pushed away. And this probe is going to get owned right here. Sentry, actually you can see, it sort of does a lot of damage over time, but just on individual hits, not that much. So both players getting the next side down at approximately the same time. So that's about 50, yeah, it's about the same. I think NightEnd's a little bit ahead, but only by like a game second or so, which is not very much. And yeah, a couple more gateways out, 2 more gateways plus a robo for State. And NightEnd choosing to get the robo out. And here's the 2 gateways as well, so extremely similar playstyle so far. We have a look at the income, both absolutely identical so far. So yeah, they've been doing a pretty good job. NightEnd seem to have a little bit less minerals. I do not know what he's been spending them on. There's the early Immortal coming out. And NightEnd, I think he might be getting one. No, he's going for an Observer first, so that's going to be interesting. Starting to see some hallucinations on the board. Starting to see a bit of pressure. Now these guys, the Zealot, Sentry, a Mothership, we've seen a Mothership and a Stalker come out, and that's pretty cool, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, just these guys, the only really heavy damage you've got is the Zealot, and the Zealot takes so long to get in range, so it's a bit hard to do stuff with there. The Mothership Sentry is a lot more effective. The Sentry does... Excuse me, the Sentry does quite a bit of damage, and the Mothership Core definitely backs it up quite nicely. And yeah, none of these pages are loading up, so we're just going to have to forget about looking at these players' stats on Liquipedia, I guess, and just go with the game. Here's the first Immortal out. The Zealot trying to have a crack. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it looks like half the units are cloaked. I think it's just this grass. This grass. I don't know why that's all funny. Usually you can just see it. I suppose it's been cleared out for some reason, but NightEnD, he's got his own Immortal out straight after the Observer, so he should be okay. Yeah, 3 sentries and an Immortal. Not going to be able to crack this defensive force. I think he's got at least... He's got 3 sentries, an Immortal, and a Zealot, so he's 1 Zealot up on this army, and so far neither player getting any Stalkers. So they're all just going for very, very heavy sort of high-tech options, and we can see here is where the real split is going to be coming. State is going for Blink, and he's also going for a Dark Shrine, so we're looking for Blink Stalkers, as well as, yeah, looks like a bunch of high Dark Templars to come in here. Meanwhile, NightEnD going for a lot more of a traditional Colossus route, getting that robotic support bay up nice and fast. But he's getting his own Twilight Council out as well, and we're looking at a double-pronged attack here with 3 Zealots. He might be able to hold it off with a couple of Zealots warped in there, but he is choosing to move his entire force back. That's definitely not a good idea. Got to keep those guys at the front, just defend with some reinforcing Zealots in here. He's actually got his Colossus out, and that's going to be chasing that away. And State trying to move in here, but this is way too late to be sending in this force. If you're going to do a double-pronged attack, you do not want to take him in at different times, because then it's just 2 single-pronged attacks. Double-prong, it's got to be at the same time for that maximum effectiveness. So yeah, State has been pushed back a little bit, but I have a feeling he's not going to be too upset, because he has got a 3rd base off that. And he is 2 workers ahead, and this will allow him to get quite a few workers ahead off that, and really start to get some stuff going. His tech is, I don't know, he's going to need the gas, but he's got a ton of gas at the moment, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what he tries to do, because he's got the Dark Templar stuff going on. Have a look at the structures. He does not have High Templar, he does not have Colossus tech. So the really heavy hitters, the only really one he's got is a Dark Templar, and I'm not sure that Dark Templars really count as a heavy hitter anyway, because I mean they're more sneaky sort of guys. So yeah, I don't know, man. In a straight up macro battle, high end, I mean DTs, I do not know if they're really going to be effective. They're better when your opponent isn't expecting them. And when it comes to harassment end game, a wave of Zealots is pretty much just as effective as a Dark Templar would be if your opponent is on the ball, which I'm sure that NightEnD will be on the ball pretty well. Here we go, getting a nice sort of sneaky Zealot in here. Going to be warping in, no, just some defensive warp-ins. We're knocking those guys away. He really needs to get a Stalker out there though, because not being able to hit that Warp Prism is just absolutely horrible. Here we go, the Immortal's starting to see some pressure, and getting some Stalkers in there. State getting some Stalkers, very, very nice move. But of course, with the large amount of Immortals on the board, sending the Stalkers up across into the enemy main army, not going to be that effective. So yeah, NightEnD is looking very, very good in this battle. He's got 2-2 on the way. State has got 2-2 on the way, but it's a little bit behind, or the armor is a little bit behind anyway. And yeah, anti-air wise though, these guys, yeah, they haven't really got many air units, so it's not a huge thing. These guys look like they're just going for the rocks, which is interesting because, I mean, Protoss players love choke points, so, I mean, choke points work very well, but yeah, NightEnD, I suppose he doesn't really care if this finish. He's quite certain that they're a hallucination, so he's not even going to he's not even going to worry about them or bother about them. Somehow I tried to say both those words in the one thing and it just went completely wrong, but anyway, we'll try not to make that mistake again. There we go. So State continuing to hold on. He has got the 3rd base. NightEnD, off this pushback across the middle of the map, has got his own third base, so he's looking pretty sweet. Both players very, very close here. NightEnD choosing to go for a little bit more gas, leaving State to get a bit more minerals, and he's pushing in here with all of these zealots, doing a pretty good job. State doesn't have quite enough here to hold off. He's hallucinated in another Colossus, but here goes the reinforcements, and this is going to shoot NightEnD off. He's going to warp all of his forces out of there, so very, very nice play, but he actually has to defend here. Looks like State finally taking a look at his DTs, and I am sorry, I must have missed this. He must have dropped off there with a whole bunch of DTs, and great job. And what's the damage on that? That doesn't look like there is any damage, actually. He probably got a couple of tech buildings down. He took out the Robo facility, which is pretty big considering how much NightEnD is going for Colossus. Got to put down a few more gateways. The DT is just going to be hiding over there, so that's pretty sweet. But NightEnD does have a suspicion, and he's going to be taking that guy out. So yeah, taking out a Robo facility. He's going to build up 2 again. I don't know if he had 2 before, but 2 Robos can always make them work. And meanwhile, State has transitioned into Colossus tech of his own. Just starting now to get the Colossus range though, so the tech option is going to be a little bit behind. And this Warp Prism is such a pain in the ass, it's not even funny, but we do have cannons. You can just pop over here. Can't really put down a Dark Templar because there's photon cannons all over the place, but he's definitely going to be annoying NightEnD to no limit. And here we go, a bunch of Archons coming out. The only one Archon out for State so far. I guess he actually had the early DT, so he should be able to get the Archons a little bit easier than NightEnD, because of course Archons from DTs cost a bit less gas than they do from High Templars. So that's pretty awesome, but regardless, yeah, NightEnD continuing to push the advantage he's got on the upgrades, just a little bit ahead. 1 DT coming in here. Cannon, I think the probe got just pulled in there. Look at this. He actually, I'm not sure how he can see that. He must have detection. Yeah, there'll be a cannon over there. So he saw that, so that's pretty good. He's actually mobilizing his forces over here. He's a little bit behind State in terms of the unit numbers. And he's going to be thinking about sneaking in here. He's actually picked it's a good and a bad time. It's a good time because if he pushes, but he's got to push right now. He's got to push right now so that this army does not make it to his base before they realize, oh shit, something's going on. So there we go. They did not reach the point of no return. They moved back, and now it's up to NightEnD to do some damage, but of course he's going to get humongously flanked here. So he's got to make sure he does the economic damage here to make it worth it. Or of course he can just warp out his army there, which was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, flawless play there from NightEnD. Perfect play. He took out the Nexus, and then he warped his units away to basically taking no losses, destroying a Nexus. So absolutely fantastic, and that is going to get him in a very good position in this game. He's actually only getting the Colossus range out now, so that's I would have thought he'd done that ages ago, but apparently not. And meanwhile, State, in terms of his income, is going to be dropping down. Yes, his minerals has been halved, his gas has been halved. He's in a very, very bad position, and right now, if NightEnD starts trading off and rebuilding, then he is going to be in a very, very good spot in this game. But he's got to make it happen, and this is what he's doing right now. State's making a play for it, but NightEnD is defending quite well, wiping out quite a lot of units. And I mean, NightEnD has the possibility to rebuild quite a lot faster, but he still has to survive this battle. That's the thing. If he doesn't survive this battle, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He could lose a couple of Nexi himself, which would be horrible. He's actually built a 4th though, so really getting into it. It was quite an even battle there, losing an even number of units, and that's exactly what NightEnD is going to be hoping for, and exactly what he needed, because now he can push out, he can reinforce a lot faster than State can. State trying to get his stuff together. He's got the workers, he just doesn't have the Nexi, although it is up now, so his income is going to be straight back in there. But I mean, NightEnD keeping the advantage. He's got a 4th, and now he's getting a 5th base up now. He's going to be scouting over here to try and see if State's getting a 4th, but State is getting a 4th over here to try and avoid detection. So really, really great play by State. And meanwhile, he's got his economy back into some sort of shape. Still, the income is not quite as good because he's playing 2 base against 3 base in terms of mining, but He's better. He's in a better position than he was previously. And NightEnD actually going for a very ballsy choice, trying to get some air tech going on, even with a whatchamacallit, fleet beacon. This may be for mothership, it may be for Tempest, or even carriers. I don't know about carriers too much, although I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing in the army of State that's good against carriers. I mean, he would need Blink Stalkers or something like that to really... Blink Stalkers or Tempest, one or the other, but he doesn't have either of those at the moment. And NightEnD going in very, very deep here, managing to take out the Nexus. Very, very nice snipe of that Nexus there. And he's going to lose all his forces. I don't know if he has a mothership core anywhere around here. He can zone all his units out. But he's going to go for this one again. He's not going for the next side that he needs to, but he's got a bunch of forces in here. Bunch of Zealots, two-pronged attack. I'm so sorry I missed that, but... oh man, that was beautiful. And the Zealots must have hit this base as well, so... absolutely fantastic. And in one fell swoop, NightEnD has taken out every single Nexi that State had. We are going to have to go back and watch that from all different points of view, because that was simply breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. And State is, well, he's... he could perhaps make something happen here. I mean, right now, NightEnD is going for a ton of Tempest, which is an interesting choice considering he's got all these units coming at him. He really needs some actual defensive units that can really do something, and he doesn't really have them here. And Tempest, he's got a ton of Void Rays, he's got a ton of Tempest. I don't know if they're going to be able to do what he really needs to do here. Of course, it would take him too long to build up a conventional army, so we'll see. We'll see if this air tactic actually works. These workers, they need to turn around and start fighting. They're not quite doing it there. And there we go, the Tempest going in for a long range, just massive. Small amounts of damage going all over the place, but the range definitely makes up for it. And yeah, State's going to be having quite a bit of trouble to deal with this. The Archon's trying to get in range. They're starting to do a bit of a good job, but the Tempest really, really doing a great job. Just wipe out the Archons and starting to do a bit of damage, but with the Void Rays back here as well, it was obvious that State was not going to be able to get back into it. I think he rebuilt the Nexus a couple of times, kept getting knocked out by Zealots, and obviously he didn't keep on top of his cancels because he is out of minerals with no Nexi coming down. So yeah, very, very unfortunate for him, but we are going to go back and look at that quadruple Nexi hit, because that was simply awesome. Actually, we've gone back quite a bit. He had a fourth one at some point. I must have skipped over it. Okay, so we're going to stop here. Alright, so this, well, obviously this got taken out at some point. Or maybe it hasn't been built yet, I don't know. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. Alright, so there we go. That Nexus is going down. It's beautiful. Okay, here we go. Here is where the action starts to happen. So we'll get rid of that. So the bunch of Zealots coming in there. That's beautiful. Cancel that. Very, very nice. Very nice. And these guys did a bit of harassment here, but then chose to move up there. And they, I think at some point they try and dive in. They're moving back here. This force coming out and just sort of doodling around a little bit. Here we go. He moves out a little bit. He's trying to make something happen. It just gave him a little bit of a gap. That was more than enough gap that NightEnD needed, so he's going to push in there. Meanwhile, the Zealot's coming in back in here. Absolutely beautiful. Going straight for the next shot. And nothing the State can really do about this. And he's trying to walk in some Zealots, but it's just going to be too late. Meanwhile, these guys just coming in, doing a great job. I mean, NightEnD has a definite plan here. He is sniping all of the Nexi as fast as he can. He's even going for this one, which doesn't really make that much sense, because, I mean, it's so far away from all the existing mineral patches, but still, he's completely boned him. And he actually chose to rebuild this, and this, basically, this is all his minerals right there. He can cancel and rebuild, because he's got 125 left. But, yeah, here we go. There's 3 probes coming over here, and I'm guessing a bunch more Zealots come around from somewhere. He's actually cancelled this. He's choosing to build it in a better situation, a better place somewhere. Maybe. I don't know, there's really no better place than here. I feel like there's no safer place than here anyway. But yeah, I do not know. Maybe he's just gone for broke. What does he actually build? What does he actually build here with this 425? Because I know he went down quite a bit. Now he's going for 3 stalkers, so he's just going for broke. He needs to finish it off here. And he's decided that stalkers are probably the way to go. But of course, 3 stalkers against 6 or 7 tempers, not going to make any sort of difference at all. So he does destroy everything here, but in the end, the massive amount of anti-air just did so much damage. And the problem is, other than the Archons, he's got nothing that can attack anti-air, absolutely nothing. And these Tempests might look like they're taking some hits here, but the Archons cannot possibly hope to wipe out this army. And neither can the Stalkers. So as soon as State sees this, and sees the Void Rays up there, he knows he doesn't have the anti-air to deal with this. So yeah, that was it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful from NightEnD. And I don't know, man, I was looking at it at the end of the game, and I'm like, NightEnD, you're switching for air. It's a bit crazy. And I wasn't really sure that it was a good play, but looking at it now, seeing that State just didn't have that much anti-air, it turned out to be really nice, because it doesn't matter how much army the other person has, they've either got to well, sorry, I lost my point, but they've either got to be able to wipe out all your buildings before you destroy them, or B, they've got to be able to wipe out your army. So State didn't have enough anti-air, so he couldn't wipe out the army of NightEnD, the air army, and B, he couldn't destroy the buildings fast enough for NightEnD to prevent NightEnD from just wiping him out through his air. So really, really great play there from both players, but NightEnD coming out the victor in that game. Absolutely fantastic, and thank you very much for watching this game. This is Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this Daily Masters.